Alright, and we are getting into this finals game, round 2. And you know what? I think I'm just going to let the music rock. Because this is pretty epic. We had a pretty good game last time, and I want to see if Clueless can bring this back and take us to a game 3. So, we're getting into our bans here, and hopefully Hayf remembers to ban something this time. There was no ban. I don't know if that was intentional, or there was a problem connecting to the lobby. But the Fizz ban is going to come out. The Karma ban is also going to come out. Let us see if that was an intentional go. They do have first pick, so they might be just leaving a ban out so they can try and get something. The Maokai is going to be open. Ooh, Alistar ban coming out. They did not like a Parkhurst Alistar. That seemed like quite a problem. Probably pretty annoying to deal with, difficult to kill. So let's see if they
played fairly well the entire game along with the Anivia. They pretty much the top comp, you know, it did its job.
Yeah.
Bottom lane lost, so they lost the game.
Bottom lane,
and the game was fairly even.
Bottom lane
entirely with the top 4 player.
And the Syndra ban. There it is. Alright. Okay, so Clueless learned their lesson. Don't let Snide have that Syndra. It's a very scary thing to deal with in the bot lane. Wolfer now a little bit more free to pick some of his other champions. Curious to see what Snide's backup is. I don't have too much experience playing against him myself, so we'll just see what he decides to pick up for that.
I can play a lot of things in the bottom lane. I'm going to be very interested in his pick, even though I do know a lot of his champions, because he has counterpick this game. He can do whatever he wants, and he definitely should always win bottom lane with counterpick. But we see Clueless, they're going to opt to pick Zyra.
Yeah, that Zyra was left open. They did not ban something on purpose in order to leave an extra champion open. They're going to pick up that Zyra. Leona, however, is still open. Leona, Jarvan, and Vi all on the table. So let's see what they're going to decide to pick up. They are going to take away the Brand. So very good pickup there by Forgot the Icing.
I expect a Brand and a Jenna, or a Brand and a Vi pick. Vi being very, very good against Zyra. I don't know if whatever melee player they have today is more comfortable playing Jarvan. We did see him play Jarvan the first game. I don't know how many times he's done it, but we will see the Morgana pick coming out again. Another champion very, very good against Zyra.
Yeah, I was also expecting to maybe see a Lulu. Lulu with that Pix is very good at taking down the plants. It only takes 1 to 2 auto attacks to melt it with the Pix passive smacking at him too. So we are going to have Matt Supportal locking in that Morgana, being that best support player, picking up the Morgana recently, saying he's been having a lot of fun with her. So let's see how Clueless decides to react to this.
Well, Morgana coming out is really good against Pop, who might have been inclined to pull out the Vi. You can just Black Shield, and then the Vial doesn't CC anybody, and it's not very scary anymore. Well, Pop's not particularly fond of playing Jarvan. It's not a champion he really likes playing. There's also Pantheon, another champion that's not particularly good at running through stuns. Brand having his stun whenever he has his passive on you, and Morgana just having that bind that lasts for so long.
And it looks like a Parkhurst might be running the Jarvan. A Parkhurst not known for building the glassy assassin-style Jarvan. He's probably going to go full tank with it. That's what he likes to do. And an Elise. Really, it has been a long time since I have seen Elise picked up in a top Dominion match.
Pub does have a backup Elise. It was pretty much... Elise is a champion that was run by Confitarius back in the day. I'm pretty sure he's the one, Pop is the one that picked that up from Conf. He plays it from time to time whenever they need an AP. Whenever he's really sick of being on the front lines and just dealing with all that CC, he picks Elise, a champion who's very opportunistic. Parkhurst absolutely despises that champion, however. I'm surprised that they're getting along and allowing him to pick that. Pop very adamant generally whenever he's talking to his team, and he believes that's a very good pick against Morgana and Brand. I think it's an okay pick.
I would say it's an okay pick. The plays that you can make with the Repel to dodge the bindings or to dodge the Brand Q coming at you will be very strong. He'll be able to avoid quite a lot with it. But, oh man, you're right. It's been a while. Conf and Painkiller, I remember, were two really, really fond players of Elise back when she got released. And she was played quite often. Since she's been hit with so many nerfs because of Summoner's Rift, she's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit, but still can hold her own in top play. And it looks like we are going to have an Ezreal and a Braum pickup.
Opting to go for 1 AD, we're probably very safe in the backline, hiding behind Braum. Braum doesn't have the most things he can block with his shield this game, but he has a decent amount. It's just a solid comp. Very CC heavy, very zoning heavy. It's not necessarily damage light. You have a Brand, you have an Ezreal. It's pretty decent. I honestly wish that Clueless had a Talon player. This is the game where Talon can do work. And we haven't seen Talon in a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, Talon still being one of those great assassins. You know, Exhaust getting buffed really hurt him quite a bit. But as you yourself being a great Talon player, I've seen you in many games where it looks like Talon isn't doing that good, but once he hits that mid-game, he's got that Last Whisper and that Brutalizer, his damage just amps out the door, and he just starts melting every squishy target he jumps onto. And he would be a great pickup for this, but right now, unfortunately, no one on their team can play that Talon as effectively at the top level.
Talon is a champion that has two good power spikes. He has a power spike when his Rake hits rank 5 and he gets his rank 2 ultimate, and then he has a power spike when he finishes in his Infinity Edge or his Maw Malmortius, depending on how much gold he has in the game. We see Wolfer going back to his old mainstay. He's going to play Nocturne. We see Snide hovering over the Jax. Very solid champion at fighting other melee champions. He has Counter-Strike. He has mixed damage. He has plenty of steroids. Skills very well into the late game. And it's something Snide's probably thinking of Sam, who came into Dominion. Fancy Wolf previously stated he's a very, very good threes player. Came over here, he played Riven, he played Jax, he played a lot of melee things in the bottom lane. And he absolutely destroyed Wolfer with Jax, and we see Snide opting to go with that pick.
Yeah, it is a very good pick. Sam did a lot more than just Wolfer. I remember him running train on Sauron. Confitarius, when he would play, would have some trouble with him as well. It was it was awesome to see such high caliber play in the bot lane, because a lot of people neglect it, but there's so many mind games that happen down there between the minions, between the matchups, between the picks, between the counter picks. It's very, very interesting to see it. And actually Snide opting to go for Brand.
It's a fine pick. Brand with maybe a giant spelled item, maybe just a couple health crystals building into Leandries, can survive initial Nocturne burst. Snide is primarily a mage player. He can play other champions. He feels very, very comfortable in his mages. They're ranged. They have a lot of kiting potential, a lot of zoning potential. They can deal with multiple champions at the same time. Very versatile. It's a fine matchup. You can push. You can generally, what Brand does in the bottom lane is he just walks up, he auto-attacks the wave, he holds all of his spells, and he just zones the melee from the wave.
Yep, well, we'll see how that goes down. And also, as our timer counts down here, and I can reveal the summoners, a very interesting spell being brought along on Acoustic, or Desire there. It's actually bringing along a Clairvoyance.
We see CVs brought along from time to time whenever you know that the opposing team is running a comp very strong at picking people. You have Cocoon, you have Jarvan standard combo, you have Grasping Roots, you have a lot of layered CC. Somebody gets caught by that, and they're not at Black Shield immediately, you can't see them in the Black Shield, and they're probably going to die. They don't have the tankiest champions. If Braum's not there, they don't really have anything that can face check a bush. They can check a lot of bushes with Morgana and with Ezreal, but they can't actually see into them, and that's why they're bringing the CV along. As they have what is pretty much a fight comp. It's not a wombo combo comp, but it's a comp that's very, very good at fighting. Just any point in time, they don't really need any ultimates to be effective. They can just go at it.
Yeah, they're very good at just duking it out, and Clairvoyance has been seeing a lot of play in the past. You would see people pick it up when they needed a lot of jungle control. They wanted that vision. Normally, when you have a really good shot caller on the team, they can CV a certain area, and just from what they see, even if they don't see anything, they can immediately figure out what the enemy team is doing and just go, okay, this is what we need to do, guys. This is where we need to be. We're going to send you here and you there, and they can position around the map properly just from that one spell dropping somewhere on the map. So it's very, very good to bring along. Especially if you know that you won't need that second combat summoner or, you know, the extra exhaust, the extra heal, ignite, etc.
The other things we see are we have double offensive summoners on the Jax. We have our Braum opting to bring along a heal. We have Parker opting to bring along a heal. This is a trend I keep seeing. A lot of tank players, very, very fond of heal, but we see Parker's again bringing a flash instead of an exhaust. He knows that, you know, I'm fighting on the front lines with a Braum. Braum's way too tanky. I might need to get out of there. I might need to get onto their backline faster. You know, it's one of those things you take where you can get a lot of possibilities, a lot of good usage out of it.
Yeah, me being a tank initiator player myself, I have to agree with Icing in bringing the exhaust and the heal. When you're playing that for the greater good tank and you're just making sure your team is staying alive. Having that heal, you know, to keep someone in the front lines alive with you, and having that exhaust to shut down the enemy's carry or other frontliner that tries to jump in and assassinate someone is just really, really strong. The downside of not having the flash is you don't really have the positioning, you don't have the extra chase. You have to be very careful about the enemy flashing into you. You need to be able to react to that. And sometimes you'll lose some kills out of it because they'll flash away and escape and you can't really chase them with it. But it's still very, very strong combo. It just needs to be used correctly. Oh man. But Wolfer actually opting to bring the heal exhaust into bot lane as well. Not bring in a flash.
He also opted to not bring flash last game, and because Snide has a flash over him, he just feels so much safer in that bot lane. That's a guaranteed escape on the champions that he has don't have gap closers.
Alright, and we are getting into this loading screen. This is going to be Crystal Cup Round 2 of the finals. It is going to be our top team, Clueless, versus League Client. Gonna need you to not break on me. There we go. The team on the top, we are going to have Clueless against the bottom team, or as we like to call them, the new kids on the block, Killing Dominion. And Clueless been around a while. So a lot of really well-known names, and then new kids on the block, Killing Dominion. A bunch of new guys coming in the past few months. Really liked Dominion, decided to stick around, take it seriously, and became quite the contenders for the throne. They actually won the last Azubu Crystal Cup, and we're going to see if they can take it again, or if Clueless is going to come back and take us to a Game 3. I'm still very interested to see how this Brand is going to do against the Nocturne. If Nocturne can pop that spell shield at the right time and negate the stun, he's going to be able to get in on him. Nocturne known for building that Ghost Blade, getting a lot of super strong crit, and Nocturne with crit and his Q damage boost is very, very scary to fight. You'll be surprised at how powerful his crits are, especially very early into the game.
Nocturne a champion who has a very, very high AD stat on his Q, so it does cause his crits to hit extraordinarily hard when combined with all of the free stats that you get from the Ghost Blade active and just the armor pin that it innately gives with the AD. It provides a very, very strong power spike for the duration of that ability.
I actually think God himself might be going bot lane on this Jax, though. They might be letting Snide play top on his Brand.
They do have multiple bot laners, and this is one of the things that you can do when you have them. They brought the CV, so they can see that Wolfer is definitely going to go bottom. I don't think there's really a particular question in that. But they also get to see the opposing starting build. They get to see Hape charging his tier. They bring Snide top. They opt to get a tier on their own Ezreal, since the AD carries can be of equal power. And Brand top lane, he has a field day. He can just fight Elise, he can fight Jarvan, he can make sure Jarvan's uncomfortable on the front line. There's far more range pressure coming down upon him than Braum, because Braum is just tankier. He's just trying to live. Jarvan living doesn't provide as much utility to his team as a Braum. It's not. He has one opportunity really, and a second opportunity if he has Cataclysm up. While Braum just sits there, he tries to get around the Jarvan, let a Q on a priority target, and get his ult down, and just put so much CC that the other team can't really deal with it.
Yeah, especially with the tanky Jarvan, he still has that percentage hit on his passive, so that's going to hurt a lot. And then he does have the armor shred as well on top of Urgot's armor shred, so that'll be a lot of extra damage coming through for the team. Even if he is built full tank, he's going to be incredibly hard to kill as well, with his shield being relatively low mana cost now, and being quite strong.
We see Bibopop trying to come around with the cheese cocoon onto Desire, but it whiffed. We got Hafe got hit with a quick binding. And again, Purple Team is a very opportunistic team. They can fight, take small engages, and then, you know, back out. And bottom lane, they're just going ham. Wolfer looks like he's going to lose the fight, but he's definitely going to get the relic as the Knight did not fade. Meanwhile, around top lane, the Poke Fest still happening. Case really low, Knight really low. Bibopop's trying to flash in and get the execute Q on, but he's just out of range. Knight blowing his flash as well. And we see Blue Team just backing up. That was a terrible, terrible position that Bibopop put his team in. Another binding landing on Generic. The Ezreal takes out the Urgot in the back, and the Purple Team with one-man advantage is going to back up the neutral again.
Yeah, I don't know if Clueless wants to stick around and fight this. All it's going to take is... Oh, but Parker's goes in, does manage to catch Snide, but the stun is going to come through. The brand damage is going to be able to melt him, but the Ezreal is also going to... Oh! Parker's almost had that last Q out on Snide. That would have been able to take him down. Generic going to see if he can get something done here onto Snide. The double shot is going to come out, but... Oh, the flash over the Q! Very nicely played by Generic. Is going to be able to finish that off, but in the meantime, BB Pop is going to go down in the back.
And we did see Wolfer taking out the Jax in the bot lane. Jax stopping the fight very, very early, and in the minion wave, the Nocturne had already pushed. Fight still going on top, however. Again, perfectly everybody relatively low on the mana in the top lane. Icing might have mana for one more Q, gets the stun, and gets the auto attack. He's going to pick up the relic as his reward, but I don't know if he's going to be living. He's going to opt to save his ultimate, even though he leveled up to 6, and Matt's portal is going to finish the cap.
Red team has captured a win.
So that top tower is going to be going to killing Dominion. Very nicely done in that top lane fight. Very back and forth there. It could have been anyone's game at any point in time. Zyra running out of mana was incredibly unfortunate. But it looks like we're going to have a gank in the bot lane coming down. Elise is going to try to get this cocoon down as soon as she gets a good position to. There it goes. Stunning. Excellent stun right as she got stunned. So that way Jax couldn't capitalize on it.
Wolfer going to opt to blow his ultimate to try to get this kill when they could have had a free cap. Instead, they're going to get caught in a Morgana ult. They're going to split up. Got himself still on no health. I don't know if he thought he healed or not, but he's just going to walk into Elise and die as Wolfer is trying to fight it out. Lupop's just going to walk away. They do have a 3-mana, 2-mana advantage in the top lane. Parker is going to go on Snide Sentinel. He's going to dodge out the Q. He's going to get hit by the Pillar of Flame in the ultimate, but he's definitely not going to go down as he opted to buy a raw Negatron Cloak and Kindle Gem. Ezreal is going to jump over the wall at him, but he's way too tanky.
Generic just going to use those plants and try and zone him out here. Very nice Corrosive Charge landed by Hafe. That is going to be a dead Ezreal.
Pop, after messing with Icing around in the jungle, he's going to base. So this is a very good play by Clueless. They juggled the tower damage very well. The Jarvan saw his opportunity and he took it, and they executed fairly well. Nobody died.
Yep, very nicely done in that top. They did manage to take it. Mad's portal is going to grab that Storm Relic in the middle. Meanwhile, bot lane, Jax trying to get a lane push, doing something against this Nocturne, but Nocturne does have that Brutalizer, so he's going to have a lot of armor pen to just chew right through that clock armor that Jax has already built.
And right now you see what Clueless is doing. They know Quest is going to spawn bot. They know they want to get Wolfer ahead of this Jax. They know they want to make sure they keep the Jax down, because he's going to be useless for the whole game. They rotate their entire team down bottom. Now, they took too long with this rotation, in my opinion. They're still going to execute it. They still have additional members. But I think Purple Team, if they would have wised up, they could have realized and rotated down. And you see the Morgana's going to get here. It's going to be a 3v3. Urgot goes in very hard, baits out a lot of spells, comes back down. They're still trying to get the cap. Gen's going to come in. If he has ultimate, this is a perfect fight for them. He's going to throw it down, tries to zone, separates the Braum from their entire team. They're going to slowly focus him down. They get the quest, and they're probably just going to back out.
Yep, they did manage to get that quest. Braum's ult was not consumed. It was mid-cast, so it did not fully go off. And it looks like Urgot and Snide are Brander up here just going to poke and trade, do a little bit of lane pushing. And Clueless is going to try to rotate up to this top point now and take it. It looks like they're going to keep Zyra down there maybe to try to keep some pressure and keep people away. The Clairvoyant's going down, seeing that she is down there. She does have Relic, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to try and dive this.
He's just going to use his ultimate and make sure he has enough resistances. He gets armor and MR whenever he uses it, and he holds Snide down for Parkhurst to get to him. Matt's the portal going to get a 2-man ultimate again. Parkhurst is just going to walk out of it and jump and dunk the Ezreal after he eats away, but does he have enough damage to finish it? Is Jarvan's face going to be enough? Yes, it is. Hafe, messing with the Morgana and the minions, dancing around, he's probably going to live, while Wolfer is still up here, he's going to take a bind. Meanwhile, we have Bibipop stopping the god himself and forgot the icing from getting to the top point, but he's going to get many ults for his troubles. If Gen sticked around, he probably would have got that kill. Forgot the icing having to blow heal to save him. It's a pretty questionable play by Generic to not follow up his teammate. He did have a wall to attack over, but it was 3 members of the team versus 2. Nocturne, however, going to opt to go straight onto the Morgana. Needs one more auto attack. Is going to get it. It's also going to die for it, so it's a 1-for-1 trade. It's just decent. It's perfectly fine. Clueless up by 100 points.
And Zyra's going to be trying to defend this top point here. Very easy for Zyra. Her plants are very obnoxious to deal with. Her wave clear is incredibly strong. The Jarvan is here. Going to be trying to clean some stuff up.
Fighting immediately because he knows his team is stronger in a 3v3 and that Snide's going to be coming up. Cave is way too deep. He should have transitioned to the other side of his team immediately. Instead, he's going to get caught and he's going to die.
This leaves a Parkhurst with very little damage. Is going to be able to get the EQ. Might be able to get out of this. Does dodge to the Braum Q, and he is out of there.
Again, they're stalling. Bubapop, who was going to gank bot lane, opts to run up top since Parkhurst has pulled so many members and so away from the objective. Genneric still with Zyra behind the turret. Getting a turret from Zyra is incredibly hard. The plant stopped the cap, and her spells still do a moderate amount of damage. You see Parkhurst here. Hafe opted to blow revive, and they're still holding. Purple team has the lower team member, so they're probably going to have to back off since everybody on blue team is relatively healthy.
Yeah, they might still try to go in. They do still have a Pyroclasm from Brand, but everyone else's ult is down now. It looks like they are just going to head back, regroup. Meanwhile, this gives Clueless some time to get some good jungle control. They are going to pass that Storm Relic off to Generic, so that Magic Pen is put to good use on that Storm Shield. And, ooh, very nice check there by, oh my goodness, that Muramana is finished. That was just a Corrosive Charge and 1 Q, and Snide is already down to about 60% health.
Well, Parkhurst didn't want to hard commit. It is worth noting that Wolfer in the bot lane, he's been fighting a little bit, but he's let the Jax finally roam up. His ult is not up, so he can't come to that fight, and Clueless knows the Jax is roaming, so they're trying to back up as quickly as possible. Hate's going to float fast. Parker's getting a beautiful EQ in, but it's just not enough. Everybody is low. Wolfer is going to opt to push the point instead of coming up here, so they're going to lose 2 to the Jax. Those 2 kills going to the Jax are very important. It's going to get him the money back that he lost from leaving lane. Bubapop is going to go very hard on this Ezreal right now. I don't know if he has enough damage to finish him. He does. We see Mad's Portal also getting caught out. This is Purple Team trying to do too much at one time. They wanted to still pressure mid, who still had members up and alive and in fighting conditions. So they're going to come back up. They're going to get top. They're probably also going to get the Brand. Meanwhile, Nocturne, he's just got the cap and he's going to back off.
Yep, they won a really good team fight. They could have taken top, they could have retreated to bot and reclaimed it, but they tried to go for mid. The revives got popped, they got punished for it, and now they went from a 4 cap back to the 3 cap here, and killing Dominion still isn't looking in any better of a position. Got himself going to stop capping, just let the minions cap that so he can get his B started, and very wise play there, just letting the minions finish up that cap while you go B. And Bubapop really deep here. He might actually be able to finish the Ezreal off, but the Ezreal still had flash up. He is going to go down. Would have been a pretty decent play if he could have taken the Ezreal with him, but Ezreal is going to be totally fine. Probably going to grab some health relics and try to keep roaming around the map here.
Ezreal's too low to particularly have an impact on anything. The Wolfer is actually roaming around because he knows he's so low, and the Brand was in the bottom lane. So Payparty got a swap on side Sentinel, so he went down early before the fight. Wolfer is in a predicament. He's rotating up to get this fight, but it is not a fight that his team wants. This is a terrible position to fight in, and the Ezreal ult comes in, the counter-strike stuns everybody up, and they all die for that.
Oh, but they did all have revives. They're being popped, they're running right back out, and instead of backing off and going for points, they're chasing down the kills, and they're about to run into a full revived Clueless, coming right up now.
The issue right now is Clueless is forced to walk forward into 5 people. They're trying to walk through Morgana, through Brand, through Ezreal, through Braum. It's just a terrible thing to try to do. And Purple Team knows this. That's why they're holding at the small choke point. Bubapop's going to come for a flank, take out Snide. He's going to immediately use Repel. And they're trying to surgically fight this out. Meanwhile, the minions in the bottom lane are fighting. Bubapop gets another kill. He picks off the Ezreal. He's in the middle of the entire team. He's relatively tanky with his haunting guy, so he's going to take a lot of damage before falling. And Clueless are going to manage to take this fight.
They are going to be able to clean it up. The minions are pushing in the bot lane, but Parkhurst is back up from his death. He is going to get down here and try and clean this up. If it does get neutralized, he is going to get a lot of gold from it because he's going to be able to kill the minions and recap the point. Meanwhile, back up top, Generic getting a little caught out is going to get blown up there.
Ezreal with the ult took out Urgot on the point, and Generic being off the point where he doesn't belong on a slow champion like Zyra out of position, he just fell. You have Wolfer playing around with Forgot the Icing right now, but Snide's going to come up here. He's tagged by Braum, so he's going to die.
And down he goes.
Red team has captured the win.
Now we have Parkhurst, who's the tank, currently stuck in bottom lane. He does not want to deal with the Jax. He did a little shimmy, which means he's telling his team, hey, you know, somebody needs to get down here. This is not my job. The Jax is going to run up there because, well, Parkhurst is really not a threat to him.
Yeah, Parkhurst trying to get a few last hits just to get that little bit of extra gold before running up.
Now, I don't think the Jax is crazy enough to jump on Bibimbap. Bibimbap is probably scarred him for life the amount of time he's been in the bottom lane. He forgot the icing, he's running forward with a black shield. Forgot himself, really could have used that. Brand ult coming through, bounces a little bit, takes Hayes down. Nocturne ult comes through, beautiful Jarvan Cataclysm, but I don't think they want that AoE team fight. Bibimbap is going to pick one guy off from the side. Parker's still caught in the middle. Bibimbap trying to make the best of a bad situation. Pick off all the targets on the side because the cluster team fight is not very advantageous for them.
Looks like Jax did pop revive. He is going to be able to jump back down on here onto Bibimbap, and that is going to be an ace coming out for killing Dominion. Very nicely done. Revives are up, however, for Clueless. It doesn't seem like they're going to be popping them. They're going to be hanging on to them. Meanwhile, Braum still has 2 revives in his pocket. So if there's ever an opportunity for him to revive, get down to bot lane, save it, then he will definitely be able to.
Clueless finally telling Wolfer, you know, we don't need you up here, we don't need the Jax up here, you know, stay down there. That's generally what happens in Clueless. Whenever bot laners come up and fight, you know, the other bot laner has a better impact, or, you know, Wolfer ended up pulling them into a bad position over by purple side, so, you know, they want him to stay down there, they want him to just do his 1v1, and, you know, they'll handle the game, because, you know, they've been winning for it before. Pretty handily.
Oh man, and this Jax immediately regrets trying to fight Wolfer there, walking away by the skin of his teeth with absolutely no HP remaining. And Ezreal coming down.
Opting to buy Ninja Tabi, which is a very good purchase against auto attackers, but he needs some help because there's pure armor pin. The Ezreal trying to fight Bibimbap, he's just going to go straight down because Bibimbap opted for a very heavy burst build with flat pin. He deals 2 damage. Portal opting for the single target ult. He's going to get Bibimbap in return, but the bot point has already been capped. Harder doesn't know if anybody's over top of the top point, so he's slowly maneuvering his way over there as Parker tells him that the only reinforcements are Braum and he's delisted in the jungle. You have Side Sentinel trying to fight Generic, runs straight into a grassing, loses a little bit amount of his health. Nocturne ult being popped by Wolfer, and he's going to come in there and get snide. Zyra ult being blown entirely to keep the Jax zoned away from Wolfer so he doesn't die, and then Jax is also going to fall. Meanwhile, in top lane, you see Half-Hearted and Parker is zoning, forgot the icing, and Mad's a portal away from the point, so Clueless is going to get a 4 cap.
And this looking like a completely different game from what we just saw from Clueless. And
Snide point takes down Snide Sentinel. Desire trying to help his friend out. As we see Clueless still pressuring. They have a 5v4 right now, and they kind of want to take it as Purple Team slowly inches out of their base.
Yeah, you can see Clueless gathering up here, all 5 of them. Bibimbap looking to go for that midpoint and cap it during the distraction. Any extra points you can get during this time, maybe possibly getting that 5 cap with the massive drain on the Nexus right now. And it looks like only person going over there to stop him is going to be Snide, but meanwhile the team fight, Ezreal is throwing that ult across Jarvan, going back in, excellent ult, they are going to be able to take down the Ezreal, and the only thing standing is that Braum, the heal coming out from a Parker's, is going to keep Urgot completely topped off, and they're going to be able to keep pushing in.
Just beautiful kiting by Clueless. Whichever team has the points forces the other team to come to them, and both teams are pretty bad on the offense and very good on the defense. We see Have coming in for the flank behind Ezreal. They're slowly luring them in. Bibimbap going very low, being a very good distraction. But he's going to go down. Have opted to not fight instead. Parkers wants to fight. Doesn't want to fight, but Generic does. They're going to get that kill. Meanwhile, on the point, Have ulted the Jax, pulled him onto the turret, but the Jax had Ignite. He's going to get the counter-strike, and he's going to pick up the Urgot. Generic slowly running out of mana, but they're trying to get this Braum down. The Snide Sentinel comes in, and Clueless probably going in a little too deep. Ult coming over the top. The split's good. Generic is going to die because of it, but Parkers is probably going to live. We have Wolfer going to ult in, pick up 2. The exhaust is blown by the Braum. So it's Snide and Wolfer, and he has minions. Wolfer has exhaust. He's going to get the fear. The CC is left. The health relic is gotten. The other exhaust gets blown by Side Sentinel. Spell shielded the stun, so Snide has to blow fast, and the Ezreal is going to blueberry over the wall. Snide not going to fall to the queue, so Wolfer is going to go down. Only 37 points left for Purple Team.
And it looks like Mad's Portal is trying to get this top point right now. The Spooky Goes are going out to slow Urgot just a little bit. That was exactly what he needed to get that point neutralized. So the game is at a dead halt right now until this top point or a different point gets captured.
We have a Parkers again in the bottom lane where he really doesn't want to be. He wants to be top helping his team. Bibimbap's going to get the stun on the Ezreal. He's going very, very hard on this. And he looks like he's going to pick it up. Forgot the icing, probably going to be too late. He blows the Ignite, so he's going to get the kill, which is perfect. Stops the Ezreal before he even gets the ult. Snide Sentinel's going to get destroyed by Wolfer because he came up from the top lane. And Parkers is probably tanky enough to stand on the bottom lane turret and not be worried about the Jax.
Yeah, Parker's does have that Locket and that Hex Drinker, although that's not the best items to have against the Jax. He also does have a Cleaver to help him out in holding this lane. So if Jax tries to dive him, he's going to eat a lot of pen from that Cleaver, and then the tower is going to hit him harder and harder, so he does not want to mess with that. Meanwhile, Clueless is just roaming around the jungle, trying to find this mad supportal. Roaming
Clueless
around
with
on the
full
Morgana.
jungle control. Bibapop probably biting off a little more than he can chew. Baits the Braum ulti, perfect. Gets the entire bait for the 3-man Zyra ultimate. He's giving his life for Ira right here, but all they have to do is really stall. They need to not all die. Destruction from that Ezreal ult and the Jax coming in. And Parkers and Wolfer were just too late to the party. If they were there, that would have been an easy team fight win for Clueless with Bibapop. But they're just going to transition to the bottom lane. Braum's going to come in and try to stop. Jax is going to pop his revive. So it's going to be 2v2 in the bottom lane, but will they save the turret? No, it's going to get neutral. So if top lane can hold at least a neutral, Clueless is going to win 2 points to 1. All they have to do is stop Zyra from capping, and they do.
And that is going to be game going to Clueless. Round 2 of the finals, and I think we're about to see a game 3.
Indeed we are.
Oh man, this is going to be good. First Killing Dominion takes a pretty convincing win, and then Clueless brings it back with another amazing team comp. Very well done there. And let's check out this post-game screen here, what we have going. Wolfer with that Nocturne. And you were just saying, he really needs to just pick his Nocturne, and look what happens when he did.
He picked this Nocturne. He had a decent amount of influence on the top lane. He used some of his ults in bot lane for the first time I've ever seen in a very long time, and he got kills with him. He just ran around the map, and he did his thing, and it worked out.
Yeah, you know, I actually think I need to give MVP to Bibapop, though. Because the amount of times that he used Repel and how many ults were blown just trying to hit him when he was that deep in the enemy's jungle. I think if someone could go back and catch how many ults he ate, or rather didn't eat because he repelled them, I want to say he got almost every Braum ult that he repelled. And then there was a few Ezreal ults, probably a Morgana chains. Like, there was so many things that he just dodged because of that. And then, because they blew all that on him, they didn't have it when the team fight came around, and Clueless was just like, you know what? We got this. Roll it.
You know, one thing that has always been expressed by Snide and by Matt Sapoto is they champions who have untargetables. They hate Vladimir, they hate Fizz, they hate Blitz, all those things. They feel like they don't belong in the game. So when you see them play against it, they still can't deal with it. Bibapop going up with Repel on Elise, you know, many things were committed on him. He dodged them, and the rest of his team came and capitalized off of all of those missed abilities and all of the positioning that he caused them to have. And he also pretty much went and hunt down that Ezreal the entire game and minimized his impact on every single team fight.
Yeah, he was just on that hunt with the Ezreal. Looking at the damage dealt, pretty even across the board, except Zyra taking it at the top. Tons of AoE damage, tons of great ults, lockdown across the board. Urgot bringing it in strong, Wolfer bringing it in strong, as well as that Elise. Jarvan still being that tank, but still dishing out the damage he needed to do. Ezreal had that Muramana, that's why he's sitting at the top of his team. Brand didn't get as much AoE damage down as he might have liked. But that was another great game. We have one more before the finals. And again, I do have to throw this out before we get into our finals match. If you guys want to win a Razer mousepad signed by Team Curse, this is being given away by Azubu, by the way. The guy's hosting this tournament, doing all this awesome stuff for us. If you guys want to win a mousepad signed by Team Curse, signed by Saint, Voyboy, Nijaki, Liquid, and Cop, then all you have to do is come to this site. We'll have the link for you in the chat. You have all these different ways that you can enter. There's only 8 more days left, so you guys better hurry up. You better get in on this right away. You could win the Razer mousepad, or you could win a Teemo hat or a Rammus hat. There are second place prizes. So be sure to try and enter that. See what you can win. Big shout outs to Azubu, you know, for hosting the tournament, doing all this cool stuff. Make sure you guys give the stream a follow. Give them a shout out on Twitter. Give them some love. And hopefully, I mean, we might see another Crystal Cup coming up again. But we're going to get to commercial. We'll get into our next games in just a second here, so stay tuned.